I'm going to call the monthly Board of Education meeting to order. Can you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Second.
Citizen statements?
Thank you, Mr. President. The district has not received any requests for citizens' participation per Board Policy BDDH.
Military update?
Good afternoon, Mr. President. We are pleased to announce that Fort Leonard Wood has received the Best Training Garrison of the Year for 2023. This is a repeat from 2022. We are now up for the Best Garrison competition that we won last year to retain our title as the Best Garrison in the Universe, as coined by Ms. O'Donoghue. Events happening on Fort Leonard Wood this Friday: dust off your dirndl and lederhosen for Oktoberfest at the Persian Community Center. Live music, dancing, food, and beverages. Entry is free. Festivities start at 4 o'clock with the keg tapping at 5. Trunk or treat at the Main Post Exchange parking lot on October 27th from 4 to 6 p.m. Harvest Fest at the Piney Valley Golf Course. Hayrides, haunted house, pumpkin painting, food, and games on the 28th at 5:30. Turkey Trot 5K and 10K November 4th, 9 a.m., $5 in advance or $10 day of. You can register for a chance to win a turkey gift card at the end of the race. And then the 2024 Month of the Military Child poster contest is now open through October 31st. If anybody is interested in competing, they can go to leonardwood.army.mwr.com.
Thank you very much, and good luck with that Military Base of the Universe award. I don't think any of us would argue that here. District announcements.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight we have here with us Partridge Elementary School, who led the district in attendance last year, and also Thayer Elementary, who won the homecoming float. So we'll give those two buildings a round of applause. We're glad you're here with us tonight, and we look forward to hearing more about your accomplishments during the Spotlight in Education. I also just want to take a minute to thank our community for all the positive support during homecoming, and congratulations to the Bank of Iberia for winning the Business Window Decorating Contest, and again to Thayer for winning the float. It never gets old saying it, I know. WHS students will perform the play Who Killed Aunt Caroline at the high school auditorium at 7 p.m. on October 19th, 20th, and 21st, and at 2:30 p.m. on Sunday, October 22nd. Cost is $7 at the door, and this play is recommended for those who are ages 11 and up. On Saturday, October 21st, Waynesville JROTC will partner with Fort Leonard Wood, 1st Engineer Brigade, to host a Raider meet on Fort Leonard Wood. JROTCs from Missouri, Kansas, Illinois, Wisconsin, Mississippi, and South Dakota will be here to compete, so looking forward to watching them compete on Saturday. Parent-teacher conferences are coming up and will be held on October 23rd, 24th, and 26th as follows. Pre-K through 5th grade, 4 to 7:30 p.m. on October 23rd and 26th. 6th graders from 3 to 6:30 p.m. on October 23rd and 26th. Grades 7 through 12 from 3 to 6:30, October 24th and 26th. And as a reminder, there will be no school on Friday, October 27th. On Monday, October 30th, Waynesville High School student organizations will host a trunk or treat from 5 to 7 p.m. at Waynesville High School parking lot. Our goal is continuous improvement, and we encourage you to participate in the upcoming focus groups and surveys so we can be the best that we can be and serve our students. There should be information that's posted on Facebook and going out through Remind and email. For the second year in a row, our Waynesville Career Center Culinary Arts students will be competing in the November World Food Championship in Dallas, Texas. So I want to congratulate our culinary arts students. And then lastly, there will be no school on November 10th in observance of Veterans Day. And this year, for the first time that I can remember, our students will have off the entire week of Thanksgiving, November 20th through 24th. Thank you.
They get
I'd also like to congratulate the Lady Tiger softball team for breaking a record on most wins this year, and also to pitcher Emma Ray for beating her record 2 years in a row on strikeouts. Okay, the motion to approve consent agenda items A through G. Mr. Ponder makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Arndt, second. All in favor, show of hands. Motion carries. Student leadership team, Mrs. Bells.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. It's my honor to recognize our student leadership team for the 23-24 school year. I know that you got to hear the thoughtful comments of our student team during our study session just a few minutes ago. And so tonight we are honored to recognize them and give them their certificates. When I call your name, if you wouldn't mind coming up here, and then you'll go over here by Mrs. Ward, and you'll have your picture taken. Natalie Deschiel, Ray Gibson, Justice Laughlin, Emily Lund, Cam McBride, and Catherine Novavoski, and these are our students from Waynesville Middle School. Okay, our students from Waynesville 6th Grade Center this year are Madison Alvarez, Jeremiah Douglas, Kate Long, Caden Mitchell, and Wyatt Moore. I know I say this every year, but we really do have an awesome group this year. All right, our students from the high school, Danley Aguilera, Renee Alima, Maya Duncan, Ethan Esquera, Haley Fort, Kimora Godwin, Patrick Lebiota, Aaron Littleton, Ace Long, Whitney Martinez Ayia, Taylor Miller, Mackenzie Moffitt, Chase Finn, Trayvon Reed, Skylar Ringo, and Mason Zamora. Mrs. Ward, is our plan to take individual and then one big group? Okay, very good. Just want to make sure. Very good. That's all right. All right, and our students from the Career Center are Eli Olivavanya, Colin Brazelin, Bishop Godwin, Avery Higdon, Reagan Johnson, Montgomery Keck, Avery Plemons, and Daniel Sterner. And I appreciate everyone's patience while we get this organized. Thanks, guys.
While they're taking pictures, I just want to say that I am every year amazed with the quality of kids that we get for this group. So parents and teachers, you've done a fantastic job raising these leaders. Okay, we'll move the spotlight on education. Partridge.
Okay, our classified Spotlight on Education recipient is Jessie Thibodeau. Miss Thibodeau is like a magician when it comes to organizing things. She keeps our schedules and records in tip-top shape, making everyone's lives easier. Also, balancing multiple tasks is her superpower. Whether it's answering calls, helping parents, or assisting teachers, she does it all with a smile. Lastly, she's quick on her feet, adapting to new challenges and finding creative solutions. No problem is too big for her to handle. Our certified spotlight is Mrs. Michelle Jones. Mrs. Michelle Jones epitomizes academic excellence, tirelessly meeting the needs of each student with a heart full of grace and compassion. Her 30 years of dedicated service have created a nurturing environment where smiles are abundant and where collaboration with colleagues is a hallmark of her commitment to each student's success.
And our PLC team for the year is kindergarten. Meet our exceptional kindergarten team, the heart and soul of our school. They use data-driven instruction to guide our young learners on a captivating journey of growth. Most impressively, their students are now at a 73.58 proficiency on how many in a set. With their dedication and expertise, our kindergartners are thriving, and we're fortunate to have this incredible team shaping their bright future. One joyful day of learning at a time. And I might add that they have over 60 years together. 60 years of instruction as a team.
Board members, you may not recognize Mrs. Jones. Last time you saw her, she was dressed up like a baby at convocation.
Okay, congratulations. Spotlight on education. Thayer.
Good evening. Tonight, Justette Lunn is going to come up and recognize our classified and certified staff for us.
All right. The Thayer Board of Education Spotlight for certified staff at Thayer Elementary is awarded to Laura Taylor. Mrs. Taylor's enthusiastic teaching style never fails to engage all students in several activities that encourage the love of music. Her experience in multiple areas throughout the country have played a role in her ability to musically impact their students. She is in her 10th year of teaching and has enjoyed working with students in grades K through 5th. She joined our team last year after coming from North Carolina. Her passion is in Kodali education, where she implements movement and instills musical interests and confidence in her students. Mrs. Taylor also enjoys collaborating with her music teachers in the district in the Voices program, empowering students to stand out in their talents. Tonight, I have the privilege and honor to recognize Mrs. Taylor as the Board of Education Spotlight for Thayer Elementary. The Thayer Board of Education Spotlight for classified staff at Thayer Elementary is awarded to Mercy Alvarez. Mrs. Alvarez is a paraprofessional at Thayer and has made a great impact on our schools, students, and staff. In the special education room, you will find her teaching small groups or working in classrooms to help students reach their learning targets. She is constantly engaged in all activities that benefit our students. Thayer Elementary is honored to present Mrs. Alvarez with the Board of Education Spotlight Award.
Thank you, Mrs. Lund. Don't go far. Tonight's recognition on Spotlight of Education, we're recognizing our first grade team, Mrs. Deja Walker and Mrs. Gisette Lund. These two have done a fantastic job working together to ensure proficient and capable learners. Their strengths are complementary to each other, which has led to major academic gains in first grade. During the first quarter, the teachers have made excellent progress in math, especially in the standard, which is add and subtract within 20. Thus far, 86% of the first grade students are proficient in the addition component of this standard. And they've accomplished these gains by utilizing ED strategies they found using non-linguistic representation of facts with manipulatives and whiteboards, along with small groups, has led to this great success. Tonight, I have the privilege and honor to recognize the first grade team to receive the Board of Education Spotlight at Thayer Elementary.
Okay, congratulations to all. First quarter Project Teach winner, Dr. Goforth.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Noah Dills from Ed Morris St. Robert is here tonight to present this quarter's Project Teach Award.
Good evening. My name is Noah Dills. I'm the controller for Ed Morris here in St. Robert, also a proud Waynesville graduate. I had the opportunity today to read Ms. Rogers' project that she was nominated tonight for, and I thought it was an awesome idea to bring a new idea to home ownership. I think it brought team building, problem solving, critical thinking to a young minds, which is awesome. Teacher appreciation has often gone unseen and not appreciated enough, so it is my honor and my pleasure for all of Ed Morris to congratulate Mrs. Rogers on this accomplishment, and please accept our donation to the Waynesville School District to help further her classroom and however you guys see fit. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Dr. Washington.
Good evening. I don't believe Stephanie is here tonight, but I want to take a few minutes to highlight Stephanie Peace. She is a special education teacher at Waynesville High School, and Stephanie was selected to serve as a Missouri Transition Liaison for the state for the 23-24 school year. And this is due to her extensive work running Tiger Joe at the high school, doing Tiger Joe on the go, and taking our students out in the community for community-based work experiences. So she's been recognized by the State Department across the state as a transition liaison. She will receive additional training in post-secondary transition. She will share her expertise with others in the district and outside of the district, and work with our regional professional development centers and assist with our 2024 Missouri Transition Training Institute. So out of all the special educators in Missouri, we are lucky to have Stephanie Peace as the Missouri Transition Liaison. I want to say a big round of applause to Stephanie.
Transportation Employee of the Month, Mr. Tronstad.
them days, so I don't have anything written down. So anyway, I've known our Employee of the Month for October, Tina Brown, for about 10 years. She was a driver for 7 years. She's worked in office for 3 years. When I took over the position as transportation director, there was 3 of us new to the office, and she was the only one that had been there the previous year. So there was a lot of leaning on her for help and getting us through that period. Some of the things I would say about Tina, and I get emotional, so Tina has had my back from day one. There is nothing that I've asked Tina to do, Miss Brown, and she has ever come back and said, I can't do that, how do I do it? She figures it out. If you've ever called transportation, a lot of times it's mostly Tina that you're talking to. She's the one that answers the phone. She's there for the right reason. She cares about the kids, she cares about the drivers, and she will support transportation 100%. It's not hard to talk about Tina. Like I said, I've worked with her for so long, and if you feel strongly, you feel passionately about that person, you don't have to think of things to say. I could stand here probably for an hour and talk to you about her. So, like I said, she is a huge part of our department. She makes a lot of moving pieces come together. I think she's amazing. I love her to death. I'm glad she's part of my team. And I would like to congratulate Tina Brown for our October Employee of the Month.
Congratulations. The Spirit Award, Mrs. Bells.
Okay, well, finally, Robin can come up here and declare her trophy. It's our honor to present this year's Float Award winner with the highest rating at the homecoming parade to Thayer Elementary. Oh, there she is. I'm glad you get to hold it now.
Community recognition, Dr. Goforth.
Thank you, Mr. President. This month, the district would like to recognize the Audie Murphy Club of Fort Leonard Wood for their donation of multiple backpacks and school supplies to Wood Elementary. Representation from the Audie Murphy, would you please come forward?
discussion items. Construction update, Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, as entertaining as these construction updates are, you may be sad to hear this may be the last one for a little while because we're wrapping up our construction projects. But I do have a brief update for tonight. Jumping right into it. Freedom FEMA shelter, we're substantially complete on the Freedom FEMA. There's just a few remaining punch list items to finish out. And then we'll be working with TOTH to finalize all the paperwork and get everything finalized for the final reimbursement for this over the next few weeks. The WHS restroom renovation is substantially complete as well. The only thing really wrapping up on this is the vape sensors are installed and we're working on getting those tweaked. That's really it. The rest of that project is complete as well. So that's the construction update for tonight. Is there any questions?
All right, thank you, Mr. Harrison.
Thank you.
Job descriptions, first reading, Dr. Goforth.
Thank you, Mr. President. The following attached proposed job descriptions are presented for your review as a first reading. 4.06.1, Transportation Head Mechanic. 4.06.2, Bus Mechanic. 4.08.3, Project Bid Specialist. 4.08.4, School Accountant. 4.08.5, Payroll and Benefits Specialist. 4.08.6, Purchasing Accounts Payable Specialist. 4.12.3, School Building Special Services Secretary. Administration will request approval at the November Board of Education meeting.
Any comments or questions? All right, thank you. Proposed policy revision, first reading, Mrs. Bills.
Thank you, Mr. President. Administration is requesting the attached revision to policy KKB, audio and visual recordings. Comments and suggestions will be accepted between now and the regular November Board of Education meeting.
Okay, thank you. Library media update, Mr. Henson.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this opportunity to speak a little bit about our library media program. Well, you really can't see that, can you? So our goals and objectives of the program is to provide teachers and students with resources to become 21st century learners within a safe learning environment, provide a diverse book collection to meet the reading interest of all learners, and to provide information literacy learning opportunities for teachers and students to include how to be a good digital citizen. Within the district, we have 10 media centers. Within those media centers, we do have 10 library media specialists. East and Freedom have 2 each. The high school, the middle school, 6th grade center, and our 3 post-elementary schools each have 1. Our career center and our early childhood center does not have a library media specialist on staff. We do have 1 library media secretary. She is split half-time between the high school and the middle school. So we like to see our library media centers as a place of opportunity. It's a place where students can come together and collaborate with one another. Most importantly, they can develop that love of reading, and then also they can explore the world around them through print and electronic resources. So far this year, the number of books checked out or circulated through our libraries is over 18,000 books. We've checked out around 1,200 ebooks. So back when COVID hit and then post-COVID, our library media specialists have done a good job of trying to provide opportunities where students have access to books 24 hours. And so you can see there a little picture of Sora, then Destiny Discovery is another site we use where our library media specialists, they purchase ebooks there, and they're starting now to include audiobooks for our students as well. We always love it when we have guest readers. So this past year, I worked with Mrs. Long and Mrs. Rowden with Infuse, contacted them, and they wanted to start up our Rock and Reader program again. So Infuse Credit Union, they sent some names to us. Our library media specialists work with them, and they schedule times for them to come into our classrooms, and they read to our students. Then, of course, we always love our military partners. We have a picture here where Colonel Hilberg came in, and he read to some students. I believe that was at Freedom. And then the picture there of the 2 students, and you can't really see, but on the computer screen is the author, Alan Gratz, and from his book Refugee. And so they offer the students an opportunity to do a book study, knowing that that author would get on Zoom with them. So that author would get on Zoom with them, and these two students chose to do a book study with the author of the book Refugee, which was pretty neat. Our library media centers also is where they do STEM activity nights, and they also have makerspace areas. They read Billy Goat's Gruff at one of their STEM nights, and they did a raft building activity. In the middle there, you can kind of see the little bee robot little thing, but they program that, and they work on their math fluency. And then lastly, also within our library media centers, they like to do flex lessons. So anytime a class is not during their checkout time, they can schedule with a library media specialist to do a flex lesson. I believe this lesson was over moon phases. It's one of the 5th grade standards. And last but not least, one of our favorite times of the year is our Love of Reading Week. Many of you have come and participated in our Love of Reading Week. Come April 8th through 12th, put that on your calendar. I'll be reaching out to you again. We love it when community members can come in and just share their love of reading. Many of the administrators up here have done it. We've had many people throughout the community. Many of our military partners have come in, but we will be reaching out to people to have them come in during our Love of Reading Week. I don't know the theme yet. They're still working on that, but once we know the theme, we'll get that out and we'll have a great time. Any questions?
Any comments or questions? Good job. All right, thank you, Mr. Henson.
Thank you.
Beginning of the year performance data, Dr. Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight I'm going to share the data for our beginning of the year assessments. These assessments will serve as a baseline to monitor student growth and to make adjustments in instructional planning as the year progresses. The STAR Early Literacy Assessment is utilized to assess the early literacy skills of our kindergarten students. As this is a new group of students who are all new to school, year-to-year comparisons are difficult, but these scores will serve as a baseline and growth will be monitored throughout the year. This year, 42% of kindergarten students met the beginning of the benchmark, which is up 3% from where they started last year. The STAR Reading Test assesses students in the area of reading. All students in grades 1 through 10 are assessed. STAR considers on level to be at the 40th percentile on high or higher. This means scoring better than 40% of students in the norming group nationwide. When we report out, we do not use that 40th percentile to calculate this. We actually use the 50th percentile as it has a better correlation with some of our other assessments. The numbers on this slide measure the percentage of students who met the 50th percentile level or higher as opposed to those who do not. This is not an average of proficiency scores, it's the percentage of kids that actually meet that benchmark. In subsequent slides, we will look at average scale scores and average grade level equivalencies. This slide represents the percentage of students who met the STAR reading benchmark at each of our elementary buildings. This slide depicts the average STAR reading scale score by grade level. Scale scores remain fairly consistent with last year's beginning of the year scores. And this slide shows the breakdown by each of our elementary buildings. On this slide, you can see the average grade level equivalency at each grade level. Across grade levels, the average beginning of the year grade level equivalency remained flat for the most part. 6th grade saw the most growth as compared to last year's beginning of the year average grade equivalency. And on this slide, you're able to see the average grade equivalency broken down by each elementary building. As we move on to math, they're going to look very much the same. Math, again, we use that 50th percentile as our benchmark. And in math, we assess all students in grades 1 through 8. And our percentage of students meeting the 50th percentile at each grade level ranged from 38 to 56%. And again, this is our breakdown for our elementary buildings. This slide depicts the average math scale score by grade level The list to the right shows the scale score needed to meet the benchmark. Scores were very comparable to the beginning of the year from last year. And on this slide, you'll see all of our elementary schools by grade level. And when we look at average grade equivalency, grades 1 through 7 met the average grade level for the grade level being tested, which meant they were either at their grade level or slightly higher. And on this slide, you will see the breakdown by each elementary building. The data in tonight's report will serve as our baseline data for the year. We'll be focused on student growth as the year progresses. Teachers monitor performance on classroom activities and assessments to identify areas students need additional support so timely interventions can be implemented. Building and district teams are closely monitoring our student learning needs so that adjustments will be made that will better support student learning needs. This does not mean we will be solely focused on closing gaps. We will continue to ensure implementation of grade level district curriculum to ensure our students are mastering our grade level expectations. Are there any questions?
Comments or questions? Thank you, Dr. Atkins. MSBA John T. Belcher Scholarship nominees, Mrs. Bells.
Thank you, Mr. President. In 1990, the Missouri School Boards Association established the Student Scholarship Program in memory of John T. Belcher, who was instrumental in developing innovative financial programs for Missouri school districts. This year, the nominees have been narrowed down to the following 3 candidates: Blaze Mohannon, Grace Parker, and Rebecca Vale. Administration is asking the board to review the applications and essays and make a recommendation for the 23-24 district nominee at the November Board of Education meeting.
Thank you, Mrs. Bells. Move to action items. MSBA form updates, Mrs. Bells.
Thank you, Mr. President. No comments or suggestions were received from administration, and we are now requesting the adoption of the below forms: ACAF1, BBAF2, BBEAF1, BBFAF1, EFAF1.
Any comments or questions? And do I have a motion? Mr. Anderson makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Pondrum, second. All in favor, show of hands. Motion carries. Job descriptions, Dr. Goforth.
Thank you, Mr. President. The following attached proposed job descriptions are presented for your review as a second reading. 4.06.4, transportation driver, trainer, driver, dispatcher. 4.07.3, safety crossing guard. The administration requests the approval of the above job descriptions as presented.
Any comments or questions? Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Rowell makes a motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Anderson makes a second. All in favor, show of hands. 7-0, motion carries. October 2023 district surplus, Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to declare excess items and equipment as surplus property as presented.
Any comments or questions? Do I have a motion? Mr. Quinn makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, show of hands. 7-0, motion carries. Closed session, closed record, closed vote is allowed by RSMO 610.021, Section 1, legal, Section 3, hiring, firing, discipline, or promotion of employees, Section 13, individual personnel records, performance ratings, and Section 19, security. Do I have a motion there into closed?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Lurcher makes a motion. I have a second. Rowell, second. Roll call vote, please. Mr. Lurcher?
Yes.
We're in closed.